Well, today we get something a little different. It's new. We've seen a lot of people out there making these things. But Hcalory, or Hcalory, whatever you want to call them, has decided to jump on the bandwagon and make a budget-friendly version of the suitcase or toolbox diesel heater. And there's the diesel heater inside with all the goodies in it. It is supposed to be totally portable. That will be decided once people have a chance to play with it, because you can put a bunch of stuff inside here. However, you got a fuel tank which has to be mounted out on the back. And if you want to extend any of these things like the exhaust or the intake or what have you, with something like this, you'd be mounting it sitting on the ground probably, or on a shelf outside the vehicle and running air into your tents or what have you, because you're not going to be mounting this one permanently like you can with the all-in-one heaters that we have, and the regular heater, which is a full install in a vehicle. Is this thing really necessary and needed? Probably not. I mean, the all-in-ones that are available in the with the metal cases and all, they pretty much do the job that needs to be done. But it does look pretty darn cool, don't it? And I can see where some of the guys are enjoying doing this stuff. This will kind of get you away from having to do it yourself. It's at this point budget friendly, and we'll talk about prices towards the end of the video here. But at this point, it's budget friendly. Now, I do have to point out that this was supplied to me from the people from Hcalory through a program at Amazon called Vine Voice. Excuse the dogs. Hopefully it doesn't come out much on the video. Now, as in most of my previous videos, the unboxing, assembly of the items, and how to operate them is not really where we're focused. There are going to be videos out there. There's some out there now already out there and such, but the focus of my videos usually are on the quality of the build, the quality of the material. We try to get down in close on this stuff. And you can watch the other videos to see how they operate and all. It basically operates as pretty much the same as any of them do. The control head is a little different. It has a different programming and what have you. It looks the same as the normal ones we've been seeing for many years, but it does operate a little different. Assembly, if you've ever assembled any of these things, if you've ever watched any of the videos, assembling what you want to do with this is pretty simple. But I will be giving a couple of links. One will be a link to a guy who's going to do did an unboxing, and then he just did his assembly of how it went together. The other one's going to be on the operation of the controls. And the control on this thing here, I have to do that because the book that they gave you with this thing does not have anything as far as how to assemble it. It has a lot of control heads in it. It's a really well done book. Unfortunately, it doesn't have the control heads on this one. It's like they just grabbed the book, tossed it in, and said, this is what we're going to use. It's totally worthless on this unit. So the guy who has the video, and I've already contacted him and talked to him about it, but he's got he's learning as he goes along, and he's doing videos, and I imagine he'll do additional videos that show you how to operate the thing. Now, there's one thing that I found on this that he hasn't found on his videos yet, and I thought I would pass it on because I did tell him about it, and his next video will probably include it. But let me tell you what it is. On these things, they have two modes of operation. One is going to be automatic, fully automatic, where you dial in a temperature, turn it on, and it does its best to try to stay within that range. The other one is manual, and it has manual speeds of H1 through H6. You go up and down the thing to increase or decrease the speed of the machine here, and that increases the temperatures. There is something on the 1 through 6 which can be used to get you back into automatic, and you are using the predetermined temperature. So you'll go in, set a temperature in auto, and as long as you don't disconnect the battery, that temperature, it will remain in memory. What you'll do is when you reach H6, hit the up button one more time, and it brings you up into the auto temp mode. So you're now going to have this thing set so it'll just automatically keep the temperature that you wanted to, or at least try to. Then if you find you need to increase or decrease the heat for a short period of time, say you open a door or something, you close the door and it gets real cold inside and you have the temp set low, you can kick it into H6 or H5 or what have you, and it'll increase the amount of output and then go back to the automatic, and it'll maintain that temperature or close to it. Now, I want to show you a video of my first fire up of this thing, and this thing fired up so easily. didn't really do much of anything except hook up the wires for it and put some fuel in it and the tank on it, and off it went. And then after that, I'll get into the real close stuff. Then we'll come back here and talk about my thoughts on it, and we'll get into that pricing thing I was talking about, because I'm a little confused about what the price is and what it's going to be. So here we go. Well, a shakedown run up, quite successful. Very, very warm. Very warm. Had a little bit of a leakage right in this area here. Had to tighten it down a little bit more after it's set for a while. It had been tightened earlier in the day, and I put the diesel in and just let it set, and it showed nothing. But after it's been sitting, or not running, but actually sitting here in the yard, it about 4 hours later, I decided to fire it up, and it had settled it a little bit. So if you guys are putting these together, be sure to go back and double check that thing, maybe triple check it to make sure it's all right. Didn't have to prime it or anything either. Instead of trying to prime it, I just thought I would see for the heck of it if it would fire up on its own, and it sure did. It's only a short distance to pull that fuel, so it was quick and easy. Now I know a lot of guys are gonna say, "Hey, you got that green plastic line down there." Quite frankly, guys, on the low side, there's no worry about expansion when the pump is pumping. Also, keep in mind that when it fills the hose up on the output side and it pumps, if there's any expansion, you got to remember the stuff's still being pumped in there, so it's still going to end up, as it relaxes, going to be pushed back into the cylinders anyway. So, you know, I've seen a lot of these things run without the hard line on it, and it's worked just fine. I prefer the hard line myself too, guys, but that's what came with it, and it's working. Nice and warm. So let's take a look at what we got here. Hcalory, or calorie, or however you want to say it, as I said earlier, is pretty well known to be a badge engineered company where they'll take a product that's being sold by a number of people, slap a sticker on it, call it their own. And I'm sure that this is pretty much going to be the same thing. However, this is not really just a decal stuck on there. This is actually painted on there and such, but an easy thing for any company to have their name put on these. But I've never seen anybody else selling this product. So at this point, they've got the jump on the rest of the people. So let's have a look what we got here. Basically, here's the door. Open and closes here. Up on top, it's got a couple of hinge latches that are well hinged, but the latch themselves, they're a hard plastic. I'm not sure how long they're going to last, but you know, I'm going to give them credit and say it's going to last a long time. Turn around to the side here. And over here, we're going to have the exhaust. We're going to have the, excuse me, we're going to have the air outlet here. This is where 3-inch tube, duct your air to wherever you want it to be. The exhaust here, as you'll notice, is not completely round. It's pretty much bent up and egg-shaped. This is the kind of thing that we're seeing with pretty much any of these things. These diesel heaters, the kits, is that the tubing and what have you is going to be bent, and you're going to have to straighten it out. I will be straightening that out, but I wanted to leave it so I could show it to you. I did straighten the other stuff out, though. The face of the case here is textured, which is kind of nice. It just got a little do not touch sticker up there. The area right here, it definitely shows you that this case was made for this purpose and this purpose only. We've got the exhaust tube here, which has been canted over. This thing here doesn't come straight out, and it's not one of those ones where they just adapted it, took a box that was being used for anything, cameras or whatever you want to put in it, and decided to put one of these in it. This is designed for this purpose and this purpose only. We got a nice angled here. We've got, it's well insulated under here, and we've got this metal heat distribution panel on it, and inside there'll be some more, and I'll show you that when we get to that point. Up here, I'm not putting a bracket on this side. It comes with 2 brackets with the exhaust supposed to come up and up here, but I'm not going to be doing that. You can see it's got a couple of dimples to locate the bracket, a couple of pre-cut holes for the screws. Now we got the gas tank side. Just a little awesome, cumbersome taking this off because it's close to here, but not too bad. Nothing that's a big issue. Now, as you can see right here, there's a hole there. What we've got is 2 holes that go through here, and there's a bracket that covers the inside of the unit here. And in each of these holes, it has a nut so that you're not just screwing in the plastic, you're screwing into a nut. I will say this though, the hole is like this, and the panel is underneath is like so. It's a little bit off, so you've got to kind of bend it a little bit, make it work, and it fits, but it's not bad. It also has another hole here and 2 more down here. This is a 5-liter tank. The 5-liter tank has 2, and you can put it here. If you want a 10-liter tank and you've got one, put it on here, screw it into these holes. The other 2 holes are right down here. Now you've got a 10-liter tank. Yes, it's going to stick up about this high, but you've got more fuel capacity if you need it. All right. On the underside, as usual, we have to cut our hole. The video that I'm going to give you a link to for the assembly of these things and the box opening and unboxing, he went and stuck it over here, and he admitted that he did it in the wrong spot. This is really where it should be. The least line you can get, the better. Okay. Let's roll this around the front here. On the front here, you're going to see the inlet for the air. This is for the inlet for the combustion chamber air. And in this is an actual foam filter. There's a foam filter inside this. Unlike the past, some of them had a screen, some had nothing. But this has got a foam filter inside it, okay? Your fuel outlet is here, and it too is canted. It's canted over for this side of the unit, so it knows the lines could come in from here, so they've canted it that way. This is also canted that way, so it gets it out of the air, the stream of air coming through here. Here's your remote, your control head. It is screwed on here, and it is detachable. And I have this been modified. As you can see, it's not attached to anything. Yep. Plug in here and this plug in here. I've modified that, and I'll show you in just a minute what we've used. I want to take this thing, have it inside with me. I will be plumbing this air into the trailer or the tent that I'm in. And I'll be using tubing like this. This is for another unit I got. I'll be getting on the proper size for this. If you look at the bottom, there are plenty of holes for ventilation. There's a lot of ventilation on this thing, including ventilation here, in here, and on the other side. The other side, however, the ventilation is behind, so you're going to have an issue with the fuel tank getting in the way of the airflow. It's not really bad because there's plenty of airflow from underneath. Got the 4 feet to lift it up. You get plenty of airflow here. If you're going to be using this, just sit down like this on the ground. I just would recommend you make sure it's not on grass or a bunch of stuff that's going to get up inside there. Or if it's soft dirt, you don't want the dirt plugging up the air holes underneath there because it can start to run hot that way. We're going to go inside. Now this is, as they say, is portable. And being portable, that basically means you're going to be able to take all your stuff inside here. Well, it's semi-portable. It is not totally portable, guys. Some of the stuff will fit in there, some of it won't. If I were to have the longer ducting, it wouldn't fit in there. If I had taken that off of here, it'd be a pretty tight fit because I've pretty much got everything stuffed in here that I can get in here. Well, let's pull some of this stuff out. And you can see it's tight. You can see the exhaust here. So it's still a little dinged up and what have you. And that's the way it came all crushed pretty good. But we're used to seeing that kind of thing. This one of the ends that was crushed, not bad. But we're used to seeing them. Not a big issue, not a problem. This one has a little dimple here. I can live with it. the outlet, the muffler, silencer, whatever you want to call it, the controls, or the battery, I'm sorry, the battery leads. Now, I've taken the end of this thing and I modified this thing. It had on the end here, it had 2 eyelets on these lines. I've taken them off and I've actually put an SAE connector on it, and I will be showing you in a second what I connect that to. This connects over here, and I want to show you something that you're going to probably want to do. It connects like so. Things down close to the ground, and I don't think I like it like that. I'm going to be taking this and flipping it over so that this will attach like so, like this. Now we'll have a situation where the line won't be getting interfered with, won't have any damage done to it or what have you. Inside the unit, there's their little decal, badge engineering, guys. Molded case up here for the inlet. And then it fits in tightly here, and it's got a little molded piece for the outlet. Very, very well designed. Down here, I've had to take the fuel pump was sitting horizontal. It's still not quite as far as I want to go, and I'll probably go a little more with it. But it had some of the stuff on there, the red zip ties, and it was zip tied in such a fashion where it was holding it straight. The bracket here, right there, is bent for it. It's not bent very much, but it's bent for it, and I've probably been working with bending that a little more. I can see that it's got the rubber type gasket here. The brackets like so. Down in here you can see the bracket I was telling you about with the, basically got well nuts in there. Here's the airflow areas here, the ventilation, but I think it's one of them's open and the others are kind of hidden behind it. But I think enough airflow is going to get through there. This is well insulated here. I've had people say that this stuff doesn't last, so we'll find out. I've only had this thing running for probably 15, 18 hours maximum. We'll have to see how that holds. There's our air inlet here for the combustion chamber. Plenty of room back here behind the for the fuel line here, which comes in and it doesn't get close to the heat. One thing I did notice, this is kind of funny, is I want you to watch right here. That's the clamp. It doesn't clamp onto anything. It just spins. That's going to be changed anyways to a better filter because I'm not going to trust that filter. When I do, I think I will either change this or rework it so it comes down tighter on it. Anything else? Oh yeah, here's one thing I did want to point out. You can see the heat sink right there to dissipate all the heat. Very, very nicely done. You can see how it thing is out here, and they've angled it so it all goes that way and gets out of the way of everything above it. So somebody's really well thought this thing out, and it's really a well done unit. It has all these little issues, but every single one of these issues is something that we see on every single one of these heaters we've dealt with. It does come with a remote control. Now, on the sales page of this thing, it shows a remote control. It says battery not included. I've got a couple other units, and they've all said the same thing, but there's a battery in here. It's in here already. So I just had to pair it, and it works fine. And as for the operating of this thing, as I told you earlier, I'm not going to be showing you how to operate this thing. It's just it's a video in itself. And there's a guy out there who's got 2 or 3 videos out right now on this particular thing. And as he learns more, he's adding to it. I'm going to leave you links to that. So when you get this thing, you're going to want to look at the video on how to assemble it, unless you already know how to do so. And then you're going to want to look at the video on this here. No matter what, this is a new controller. Everybody should look at it because it's not like any other controller I have. Okay, as promised, I'm going to show you the power supply and the unit, how this is set up. I have taken that in, like as I told you earlier, and took the eyelets off because I'm not going to hook it directly to a battery type situation, although it is being indirectly. This line here has been added to this box, and inside it is a battery that this will go plug into. Just plugs in there. And it's, you can see it's lit the item up. Now, on here, I wanted to extend this so you can see all this lead. Look at all this lead I've got here. This is 9.8 feet, basically 10 feet of lead that I can extend this thing into the cabin I'm in, whether it be the trailer I'm going to be using it on, or it's going to be in a tent and what have you. This thing here, I can take it in because that temperature sensor is right here. And if I want to use this in the auto mode, I'm going to need to have this being able to sample the temperature within the tent or the confines of where I'm at. Comes ready to go in a bag like so from Amazon. I will leave a link down below for that. There are two of them in it, and there's also a spare terminal end here, and I'm not quite sure why they included a spare terminal end, but this thing here comes with two of them, so I could actually extend this thing out to almost 20 feet if I wanted to. Not that I'll ever need to go that far, but the fact is you could. But, you know, it's like $8 for this thing, $8 and change. Well, there it is, guys. What do you think, huh? Kind of interesting. It's a cool looking unit. I mean, I really like the way it looks. And I'm sure a lot of you are going to like this thing too. For those of you who like these things the way they look, but just don't have the skills or time or desire to go out and buy yourself a, what is it, a Pelican box or a Apache box and stuff, in case and put it in yourself, this is the perfect answer. And when you get down to it, the extra cost of buying all the stuff you need to do to convert it, this thing here, if it stays at the price that it was at when I received it, this would be an excellent deal. You're going to build your own, you go well beyond this. There are problems with the pricing because I'm starting to see a different price on some of the other sites for this thing, and that could be an issue. Now, at the time that this was given to me, the price on this thing was $199.99, I think it was, just 200 bucks, okay? Um, I've looked at other sites and the prices over there are in the neighborhood of $299, and I think on their website they had a discount for this model for $249.99 for 250 bucks. So you're looking at a $300 price range up there for some of the sites I've seen. You're seeing a $250 at the site at this company's site, and then you're seeing $199 or $200 over on Amazon where this came from. They have sold all these out, and I'm not sure what's going to happen when they restock. Hcalory does have a lot of items that they sell and what have you. And I do have another one of these type of units. I have the basic unit, it comes in a box and you assemble it. I got one of them from them, and I've got a refrigerator, which I'm going to be doing a video on the refrigerator here soon. So keep an eye out for that. But I got these items from them, and they they're basically badge engineers. Okay, they go in and buy a product that somebody else makes, stick their label on it, and off they go. This particular item here, nobody else is doing it at this point that I know of. If somebody else has seen somebody else selling this same product with their label on it, stick some information down below so the guys can look at it, so they can maybe compare pricing. Okay, these guys, they tend to like to keep their prices low so you can afford them. Anyhow, this is available with this particular controller that I showed you in the video. They also have a controller that has Bluetooth. I'm really not sure what good Bluetooth is going to do, because you get a remote control with this thing, and you can turn it on and off and up and down and what have you without the remote, without the Bluetooth. But it's kind of neat. Some guys really like that stuff. But at 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 $200, let's put it this way, at 200 bucks, I would build this myself if I was wanting one of these. $250, I think that might just be that tipping point where I'd have to decide whether I was willing to spend the extra money to get it or not, um, and maybe build my own. And at 300, I'd probably just build my own. You know, I mean, I'd probably build it a lot like this is made, because this is done fairly well. But I would do my own on it. There's a couple things I did want to point out too that I didn't show you in the close-up video that I did see later. You can see got the grilling here, this little grill. This stuff is just heat welded in there, and some of the heat welds on it are coming loose. Not a super big issue because there's enough of them on there to hold it in place, but if it is an issue for you, you can always take a soldering iron or something and just touch it into the back of the metal on the backside, and it'll sink into the plastic and stay there. The other thing is this handle. This is the beefiest handle I've ever seen on a suitcase type thing or a toolbox type thing. This thing is massive. It is sturdy as can be. The downsides, though, on it is the things I told you earlier with the tubes being crushed. We see that all the time. The grill coming loose a little bit, that is something that we don't see often, and it shouldn't be like that, but it is. Um, the book, and here's the book. This thing is getting 8 languages, okay? 8 languages, 112 pages worth of stuff. Lots of information in here. Lots of pictures of controllers. Nothing to do with this thing here. And the other last thing is the latches. You know, they may last forever. I don't know, but I would like to see something a little sturdier there. I mean, the rest of the thing is sturdy as can be. I would love to see something a little sturdier there. So anyhow, guys, that's where it is now. I'm going to leave a link to the site for this here. And like I said, at this point in time, there were none available. Then we get it when they do come out. Again, take a look at the price, or you may have to peruse Amazon to see if they come up with a different page, because sometimes they'll do that and my link won't go to that page. It's also available from Banggood, I think it is, has it. Banggood is the one that sells the one with the Bluetooth in it. Also their website, hcalory.com. Okay, so they have their website, and you can go there and buy from them too. I notice the prices are higher over there than they are on Amazon. So if you can get it at Amazon, get the stuff there first. Also, I will leave a link to the extending harness for this control that I showed you earlier. And I will also leave, and that is, if you want to move this, use automatic, and you have this outside, you're going to need to take this temperature, this control head inside with you, because that's what the thermistor is, and inside the control head. If you don't, automatic won't work. It's going to try to keep it warm based on outside temperature, which will never warm up for you. So I will leave a link to that, and it's just a plug and play. I mean, you just unplug the thing, plug it in, and you're ready to go. And I will also leave links to the 2 videos explaining how to put it together, box opening and that kind of stuff, and how to operate it. And the guy who would operate it, you want to go back and check with his videos every so often, maybe even subscribe to him for, if not forever, for a time being, while he's still coming out with these new bits of information. I know I have been, and I'm going to be watching to see if there's anything new. Oh yeah, one last thing. Down here I showed you the plug. I turned it over. Just squeeze the 2 things on the inside. It'll pop out, roll it over, pop it in, and now your cord will not be dragging on the ground. I guess that's about it for now, guys. So I'll catch you next time. Take it easy.